श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभत्वं सदैव श्रीदत्तास्मान् पाहि देवाधिदेव भावग्राह्य क्लेशहारिं सुकीर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। त्वं नो माता त्वं पिता प्तोऽधिपस्त्वं त्राता योग क्षेमकृत् सद्गुरुस्त्वं त्वं सर्वस्वं नो प्रभो विश्वमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। पापं तापं व्याधिमादिं च दैन्यं भीतिं क्लेशं त्वं हराशुत्वदन्यम् त्रातारन्नो वीक्ष ईशास्त्रजूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। नान्यस्त्राता न पिता न भर्ता त्वत्तो देव त्वं शरण्योकहर्ता कुर्वात्रेयानुग्रहं पूर्णराते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। धर्मे प्रीतिं सन्मतिं देवभक्तिं सत्सङ्गाप्तिं देहि भुक्तिं च मुक्तिं भावासक्तिं चाखिलानन्दमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। श्लोकपञ्चकमेतद्यो लोकमङ्गलवर्धनम् प्रपठेन्नियतो भक्त्या श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत्। श्रीपादराजं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभ चरितामृतम Chapter 22. The story of Gurudatta Bhatta. Sri Sreepada alone can confer the results of the horoscope in the astrological signs to his devotees. Gurucharan, Krishnadasa and myself remained in an inexplicable elated exhilaration in the presence of Sri Sreepada. One astrological pandit named Gurudatta Bhatta came for the darshana of Sri Gurudeva. Sri Sreepada treated him with utmost cordiality. We were asked to conduct a satsang in a peaceful place. Our conversation turned towards astrological signs. I questioned Sri Bhatta. Sir, are the results indicated in astrological signs definitely to happen? Or is it possible to have changes and additions in the results? Is human life conditioned by past karma? Or is it controlled by human effort? Then Sri Bhatta explained, Bha wheel means the path of stars. The starting point for it is Ashwini star. There are two methods to specify the place of this star. They are Chaitra Paksha and Revati Paksha. Revati star is situated at a lower position of 8 points of potency than what is required. So, it is not acceptable. It is difficult to recognize the sphere of Ashwini star. The Chitta star, which is at 180 degrees from it, is a single sphere, bright and clear. When 6 Rashis are added to it, it becomes Ashwini. Therefore, Chaitra Paksha is accepted. Ashwini star is proved as consisting of 3 spheres as Turagamukha Ashwini Shreni, that is, row of Ashwini stars with the faces of horses. There is a special reason for the birth of Sri Sreepada in Chitta star. 3 spheres combined as a single star Ashwini. It is his form. It is the beginning of Bha Chakra constellation. That is his form of Dattatreya. His very first incarnation was that of Sri Sreepada Vallabha. His birth star Chitta is exactly at a distance of 180 degrees in straight line from this Ashwini star. The strength of any planet or star would be concentrated at a point of 180 degrees distance. Human beings are born in consonance with their past karma in a mathematically appropriate arrangement of planets. Planets do not have love or hatred towards human beings. Different rays, different vibrations emanating from them are having the power to create relevant incidents in those times and in those places. To escape from undesirable results, we must possess vibrations and rays capable of arresting and defeating those negative vibrations and rays. This can be achieved by mantras, tantras, meditation, prayer and such similar methods, or by our personal yogic power. However, if the karma of previous births is extraordinarily strong, the above mentioned procedures will not work. Under such circumstances only, Sri Sreepada can rewrite the writings on our forehead. For him to revise our writing, there must be some situation wherein some good advantage will be gained by the world through us. This will not happen in ordinary circumstances. Sri Sreepada will never interfere unnecessarily in the programs of creation and in the activities of deities of destiny. Nevertheless, the suffering of a devotee will move Sripada. Due to the force of the great influences of love and compassion that swell from the heart of the Lord, the strength of the deities of fate becomes weak. Fate is inert. Sri Sreepada is consciousness personified. When he feels it necessary, he turns dust into sky and sky into dust and displays his capacity for reconciling the irreconcilable. This is a very natural thing for him. I was under illusion in my ignorant state that I am a great scholar in astrology. I belong to Karnataka. I cannot speak fluently in Telugu. I can communicate freely in Sanskrit. Luckily, I went to Pithikapuram. I heard from some people about Sri Sreepada Srivallabha. Our family deity is Sri Dattatreya. I visited self-existent Datta in the Kukkuteshwara temple, which is Padagaya Kshetra. I worshipped Datta with devotion and diligence. When I was in meditation, I heard an inner voice clearly. You fool! How long ago you died? You are bragging that you are my devotee. You are giving camphor arati to my face and driving nails in my feet. Have you come here to drive nails into my feet at Padagaya and see my blood? These words were repeatedly heard by me. As I was an astrological pandit, I made calculations of my horoscope. I was in the presence of self-manifested Datta in Padagaya Kshetra at the exact date and time at which I should leave my body. I felt my pulse. Pulse stopped. I felt the beat of heart. It also was not working. I saw my face in the mirror. Instead of life symptoms, symptoms of death were prominent in the face. While laughing, I looked at my face in the mirror. What was there to be proud of? It looked like a corpse of a dead man with an ugly aura turning as a ghost and laughing. The priest in the Swayambhu Datta temple was a very greedy one. I could see his subtle body. His subtle body was having more ugly features than mine. The discriminating power hidden in some corner of my personality awakened. I understood that my sorrowful condition would not be removed unless I have the darshana of Sri Sreepada. Deities are persons of perfect bliss. Even without the heartbeat and pulse movement, they have the exalted position of happiness. My position was much worse. There was no happiness to my soul. On the other hand, there was heavy sorrow. When soul departs from the body, the troubles of the body end. But my soul did not leave my body. However, in a compelling condition to live, functioning of my heart was stopped. Shri Gurudev created a peculiar situation wherein, by hearing the words of most despicable people and sinners, I was deceived, and as a result, I lost the most precious diamond, Sri Sreepada. The misleading, mischievous statements such as, "Oh, Swayambhu Datta, who is a stone, incarnated in the house of Ghandikota family. But then a stone will not have the pulsation of nerves and the pulsation of heart. Then Sripada has the pulsation of nerves and heart." It is said that on Mahalaya Amavasya, a very sacred day for ancestor mains, some Avadhuta came and took bhiksha. It is said that he was Dattatreya, and that Supreme Lord was born as the maternal grandchild in the Malladi family. What a wonder! What a deceit! What a fraud! Resulted in my forfeiting the precious diamond Sri Sreepada. I went running quickly to the house of Sri Sreepada. Sri Sreepada, aged 10 years, came into the street and reprimanded, "Come, come, bloody fool, come." to give nobler states to useless fellows like you who fell dead, and to devils in human form, for the sake of your ancestors who are undergoing terrible troubles in Raurava and other hells on account of your misdeeds? One in the guise of an Avadhuta came on a Mahalaya Amavasya day seeking Diksha from this holy house. Do you know who it was? It was Dattatreya. Do you know who is Dattatreya? It is me. At the mention of whose name, hordes of Rakshasas and devils shiver with fear. I am that Datta. I turned you into a rock, but retained hunger and thirst. I took away your life, making you look alive to the world. Let us decide afterwards whether I am Datta or not. First, tell me this. You are really dead. So, can you deceive as if you are alive? When he questioned in that thundering voice, I trembled violently. In the meanwhile, Sumati Maharani came out. She was struck with fear on seeing me and called, Krishna Kannaya, who is this Aghori completely covered with the symptoms of a corpse? You come inside. I will remove the evil eye. Then Sri Sreepada said, Mother, this person has not become Aghori as yet. He is going to take a birth as an Aghori when he will eat corpses by burning them. He came to me prior to that ensuing birth. Mother, give him some chaddi anna, that is cooked rice stored in buttermilk that is left behind. Sripada requested his mother. Akhanda Lakshmi Saubhagyavati Sumati Maharani kept some chaddi anna or taravani anna, that is rice soaked in sour or fermented rice water, for Sri Sreepada. Sri Sreepada gave me the taravani anna and asked me to leave that place. I ate that taravani anna in the open place opposite to Kukuteshwara temple. As soon as I ate it all, my miserable state vanished. I went again for the darshana of Sri Sreepada, but Sri Sreshti took him to their house. Sri Sreepada was in the grocery shop of Sri Sreshti. He was personally receiving varahas and putting them in cash box. Sri Sreshti was personally measuring corn and rice and giving them to customers. Sri Sreepada asked, Tata, today is day of budget and account. How much dakshina is for father? How much dakshina for me? Then Sri Sreshti replied, Kannaya, that which is given to father is a monetary gift to a scholar, and that which is given to you is a money promised by vow to Lord Venkateshwara. There are no bargains between us. You can take whatever you want. You have to give me what I want. What an enchanting spectacle was that! Sri Sreepada took a small piece of jaggery and put it into his mouth. He gave me another piece of jaggery as prasada. Sripada said, Tata, the Ganesha puja conducted by me is finished. Ganesha has put the piece of jaggery in his mouth as Naivedya. If you want proof, see my mouth. Saying so, he showed his throat. We do not know what great spectacles Sri Sreshti saw in that. After some time, Sri Sreshti said, My golden Kanna, Ganesha can take as much jaggery as he desires as Naivedya without asking me when he feels hungry. Tell this to him. In the meanwhile, Akhanda Lakshmi Saubhagyavati Venkata Subbamamba came and took Sri Sreepada for anointing bath. Gurudatta Bhatta said, "My child, Shankara Bhatta, Sri Sreepada saved me in this way the misfortune of being born as an aghori, as I was spoiled on hearing the words of crooked people. If I am merely left to my fate, I would have completely fallen down. On account of their pure love for mankind, Sadgurus free us skillfully from the consequences of fate from previous births. For this, they spend their valuable power and time. The horoscope of Sri Sreepada has to be calculated according to Sandra Sindhu Veda. That cannot be approached through ordinary mathematics. Tithi, day and stars will be in accordance with Sandra Sindhu Veda. Sri Sreepada, Sri Appalaraja Sharma and Sri Bapanarya used to speak in Sanskrit along with Telugu in their house. They were speaking in Sandhya language, which was in use in Himalayas, in the sacred land of Saptarishis. This language spoken in Shambhala is different from Sanskrit. It is not possible to describe the sweetness or smoothness of that language. Only Sri Sreepada, Sri Bapanarya and Sri Appalaraja Sharma could speak this language in Pithikapuram. Sri Sreepada said to Sri Bapanarya, who was famous as Satya Rishishwara, "Grandfather, Sri Krishna was not speaking either truth or untruth. He was only a preacher of duty." Then Sri Bapanarya said, "Kanna, we should always speak truth. Even casually, untruth should not be uttered." Sri Sreepada smiled. That day in the afternoon, Sri Venkatappayya Sreshti came to the house of Bapanarya. Sri Sreshti had an intense desire. That was, Sri Bapanarya should take meals in their house and that he should compulsorily accept dakshina after meals, and that too during the period of Mahalaya Pakshas. His idea was that by that his ancestors would be greatly pleased. Sri Sreshti had a doubt in his mind whether Sri Bapanarya would honor his request or not. Even then, he thought about Sri Sreepada in mind and expressed his opinion in front of Sri Bapanarya. Sri Bapanarya said that he would definitely take meals in the house of Sri Sreshti and that he would also receive dakshina. The words came from the mouth of Sri Bapanarya effortlessly. The happiness of Sri Sreshti knew no bounds. Sri Sreepada was highly adroit. During the Mahalaya Pakshas, Sri Sreshti and Sri Bapanarya forgot about the promise. In the afternoon of Mahalaya Amavasya, Sri Sreshti came to the house of Sri Bapanarya. Sri Sreepada smilingly said, "A promise should not be made. After making a promise, it should be performed. If the promise that was made is forgotten, at least those who received the promise must remind about it. I demand an explanation from both of you." Then both of them realized their mistake. It was known from this incident that Sri Sreepada is as much capable of making people aware as he is equally capable of making them forget. They were sorry for their mistake. He consoled them saying, "My role is there in bringing forgetfulness to both of you. The ego, I, and I is in the form of consciousness in every human being. A living being derives not only the body but also consciousness from parents. For this consciousness of ego, there is a responsible function to perform in the universal plan. This is the bond of karma that comes in succession in the order of birth from father to son and from son to grandson and so on. Only when the order of asceticism is taken after leaving the order of a householder, a release from this bond of karma takes place. This promise made today or the promise received in this birth of limited name and forms need not be redeemed only in this birth between both of you only. This is transferred to the consciousness called Nenu, that is the greater form of ego. Therefore, at some place and during some time, a person in the lineage of Papanarya can eat and receive dakshina in the house of any person belonging to the lineage of Sri Sreshti during Mahalaya Paksha. You should not ask me when, how, and in what manner it happens. The karma, that is the structure of fate, is very complicated. It is very subtle. For certain actions, physical time and fruition time vary. According to physical time, this ritual has to be done in these Mahalaya Pakshas only. Nevertheless, since the time of fruition did not arrive, it was pushed to the distant future. Sri Sreepada spoke to both of them beneficially. Then I asked Sri Bhatta to explain to me in detail about physical time and yoga time preached by Sri Sreepada for the benefit of the people. Then Sri Bhatta said, along with Bhowtika Kaala, that is physical time, and Bhowtika Desha, that is physical place, there is also Maanasika Kaala, that is mental time, and Manasika Desha, that is mental space. Together with them, there are Yoga Kala and Yoga Desha. Suppose a person is aged 60 years, but he is constantly in the pursuit of education like a person of 20 years. Then his physical time indicates 60 years. That relates to his body. However, his mental age is regarded as 20 years. Assume in the same way, a youth aged 20 years is shouldering load of responsibilities of an old man of 60 years. His physical time is indicating 20 years. That relates to his body. But his mental time is deemed as 60 years. In this way, there is no rule that physical time and mental time should agree as the same time. They may be different. Whoever constantly feels eager mentally to live in Kashi or Pithapuram derive the fruits of residing in Kashi or Pithapuram. Even if the body is in a kshetra and the mind does not dwell there, the fruits of residing in that kshetra are not obtained. I am going on a pilgrimage to Kashi. I always reside in Kashi. Whoever is mentally feeling anxious in the above manner will get the benefit of residing in Kashi. The reason is he is mentally residing in Kashi only. Therefore, physically in whatever country he is living, his mental country shall be Kashi only. Similarly, a person who kills a cow living in Kashi cannot get the advantage of residence in Kashi. Also, cranes standing in the waters of Ganges waiting for fish cannot have the punya of taking bath in Ganga. Likewise, even though one lives in Pithikapuram and visits Sri Sreepada physically, he cannot be reckoned as a resident of Pithikapuram or as the dependent of Sri Sreepada unless his mental time and mental place are appropriately tuned. Yoga Kala and Yoga Desha are matters to be comprehended only by persons of rich spiritual strength. It is a divine, unknown, esoteric mystery when anyone can get Yoga Kala and in which place Yoga Desha is formed from the divine grace of Sri Sreepada. Comfort from good action, misery from bad action invariably follow as results. Even though bonds of karma of past lives chase and harass us, Yoga Kala comes about from the compassion of Sadguru. When that time comes, that karma will be quashed in such a Yoga Desha where that karma has to be redeemed. This is a strange matter. In Pithikapuram, there was a servant called Shivaya with Sri Narasimhavarma. Sri Sreepada suddenly saw him one day with intent looks. Immediately, there was a lot of change in his mental makeup. He abandoned food and sleep. He was speaking incoherently. I am the cause for creation, administration, and destruction. I am the ancient one of first origin. All this creation is originating in me, developing by me, and again merging in me. Narasimhavarma took lot of pity on Shivaya. He prayed to Sri Sreepada to save Shivaya. Then Sri Sreepada took Shivaya to the burial ground. Sri Narasimhavarma also followed. The dried sticks of Audumbara tree were got arranged in the burial ground and Shivaya was made to burn them. Then Shivaya was freed from the curious mental disposition. All this was strange to Narasimhavarma. Then Sri Sreepada said, Tata, there is nothing to wonder. One Pandit in Vayasapura Agraharam is always criticizing me. What a great offense! Where is Paramatma, personification of Vedas? Where is this young urchin Sripada? It is said that this boy is the cause for creation, sustenance, and destruction, and that he is the origin of the yore. All this is a fraud, a blatant lie. He was having this sort of constant thought. Recently, that Pandit died. He became an ogre. In one of his lives, Shivaya was slightly indebted to that Pandit. I created Yoga Kala and decided the burial ground as Yoga Desha. I arranged funeral with Audumbara sticks as Yoga Karma and released the Pandit from the life of a ghoul. I rescued our Shivaya from that ghoul. My son, Shankara Bhatta, this great effulgence, Dharma Jyoti, incarnated in Pithikapuram, is today sanctifying Kurugadde. Planets give results following the will of Sri Sreepada. Any kind of astrological results are not bound to occur in a specified physical time and physical place. That will be decided according to Yoga Kala and Yoga Desha. Sri Sreepada can show grace and avert accumulated fate and even death. If Sri Sreepada wills it, He can make incidents to happen now which are to happen after 1,000 years according to astrological signs. Event that has to occur at a great distance will take place here only. That means he can determine the yoga desha. All events take place only in desha, that is place, and kala, that is time. Sri Sreepada can alter those desha, kalas at his pleasure. Once, when a coconut was to be broken before God in the house of Sri Sreshti, Sri Sreepada personally broke it. That coconut was broken into pieces. It was full of blood. Then Sri Sreepada said to Sri Sreshti, "Grandfather, today you are to die. Your head has to be broken into pieces and blood has to flow. I transferred those desha and kala to this coconut and saved you." Sri Sreshti was astonished at the words of Sri Sreepada. In the meantime, dusk had set in. All the three of us took leave of Sri Sreepada and leaving Kurugadde, we reached the opposite bank of river Krishna. Victory! Victory to Sri Sreepada Srivallabha! Here ends the 22nd chapter of Sripada Srivallabha Charitaamritham.
आरति गुरुदत्ता, आरति गुरुदत्ता, अवधूता नरहरि भाग्य विधाता। आरति गुरुदत्ता, अवधूता नरहरि भाग्य विधाता। आरति गुरुदत्ता। विसरुनि तव पाय अनसूता, विसरुनि तव पाय अनसूता। ज्ञान उदेले उदाता। आरति गुरुदत्ता। हीनत सेठाई गुरुनाथा, हीनत सेठाई गुरुनाथा। तुझी माऊ धरता। आरति गुरुदत्ता। तुझ बिन मज कोणी नचत्राता। तुझ बिन मज कोणी नचत्राता। भक्त वत्सला त्राता। आरति गुरुदत्ता। नित्य तुझी सेवा